Hello team, welcome back. As a part of understanding uses and functionalities that can be applied on database, the first query that we learn is about creating data tables. Let us take an example. So we have an organization, we want to maintain details related to the employee, salary and employer. Okay, these are the three details. See, employee will work for organization and he gets salary, and employer will provide employment to the employees and he will be paying salary to them. So we want to maintain details related. We are a HR consulting firm and we want to maintain details about who is the employee and for whom he is working for and what is the salary that they are paying to him. Okay, so to do this, first to maintain details about the employee, we need to create a table by name employee. Okay, so the structure includes create table name. This is the table name and it contains various types of columns and type of data that should be included. For example, an employee, if you are creating an employee table, it may contain employee ID, employee name, maybe employee address, something like that. If you take employee ID, usually it will be in number, otherwise it can be a text. Means for example, if you take your ID 1601, 1602, 1901, 1902, they are numbers, they are of numerical type. Okay, and it defines identity of the employee by using which, if you say who is 1601, you can explain that XYZ person is 1601 and his age is this, his date of birth is this, he stays in XYZ location, something like that. We collect all the details in the table. This is what we call creating a structure of the data available. So you have a employee data, you will be creating structurally, you are creating all the details about the employee. It contains a primary key. We call this is a reference index. Indexing means by using this index, it is possible to define details about the person. So when we have an index like primary key, if you say that 1401, this is that ID is related to Badrinath and he is located in LB Nagar, something like that. Okay, so that kind of information will be maintained in columns. Data type can be of different types. It can be text data where name, location, these details will be defined by using textual information. Means name is BN Rao or Badrinath. So these are textual information. So it is of textual information. Further, we mention that data column is name and the data type is text. And if you are including the numerical type of data, maybe for example age 35, 35 it is a 35. It is a numerical type of data. So first we decide what is the name that should, what is the attribute that we are going to use, what is the defining factor that we are using to create the structure. Then each attribute means each column and respective type of data type it is. Let me give you an example. If you are using employee, then we will be deciding that table name is, we should decide about all these things before creating that emp table. Then column 1 should be emp id and it should be of number type. This is the decision I made. Next, emp name, it should be of text type. Maybe emp age, it should be of numerical type. Emp date of birth, date of birth will be of date type. Date. Very simple, we can understand that, right? So employee ID, usually it will be in number format. The kind of information it is, based on that we decide. For example, if the organization is using ID as A003415 and SX, something like that, it contains alphabets also. It means that it is a textual type of information. So we can define it as text then. As our ID consists of only numericals, so I'm defining this as number. And employee name usually it will be in textual format. Employee age, it all depends the kind of detailing you give. Maybe if you give THIR, 30, F5, E5, it is of textual type. If you want to use it in numericals, you can simply create NUMBR number type. And date of birth, it is date type. Okay, we don't give spaces while defining the column. Alright, this is the information for which I want to create a table. So let us start the activity. So let us open MS Access. You can do it in this way. Access, search for Access, and I am opening MS Access file. In that blank database, in that new, you can give your name, new Rachana, create. This is the database that we have. This is MS Access file, first view of MS Access file. Now we can create, we have create here. Using this we can create tables, we can write queries, we can create reports, number of things we can do. But let us start creating a query. So for one, creating itself I will show you the query. Later when we are working on the activities, then I will show you some other queries. So maybe let us start with query design. In this, close this one, and in this SQL. So now we try to implement using this structure. First it is create table, that should be taken straight away. Create table. Then what is our table name? Employee table, EMP table table, and it should contain fields. This is the structure. Fields, EMP ID. It should be defined as number, as it is a number, and EMP name. That is EMP name, right? And it is of type text, and EMP age, it is of number type, and EMP DOB date. Let me check. If it contains any errors, it will show us. Otherwise, it will directly creates a table and it will be displayed here. So it created. So using this query, I have created an employee table. Here I can directly include values that I want. For example, it is 1401, employee name BN Rao, and EMP age 37, by 37 Avira, and date of birth maybe like this. चलो ले लेंगे, and I can change it like this, 15/03/1982. Done. This is how I can insert data. See, I created another slide to use insert query, but rather than writing insert query, this is the best way to create records. So this is structured form. For example, you say that BN Rao is one of the employee of XYZ organization and his age is 37. He born in the year 1982. This is a lengthy textual data. By structuring it, it simply explains that information. Though it is a raw data, it clearly explains the information. Okay, so this is structured way of representing the textual information. The textual information that I read is unstructured information. By mentioning data in this way, we call it a structured form. So now you can create another table. So you just decide about the table. So we take this one. Next one is employer table. EMPLOYER employer. and employer ID. We decide that this is text information. Okay, we can do that. If you want to mention it in a numerical form, you can mention it. But employer name, employer name, employer year established. So I decided the fields that should be in employer. Now you try to create this table. Okay, and try to enter some values, maybe ID 1001 and employer is Wipro, established year is 1991, something like that. Try to create some records into the employer table. Then you yourself decide about what should be contained in salary table and try to create salary table. So now you got idea about creating a table, structurally arranging the data. I'm sorry, deciding about fields that should be included and inserting data into the table. I want to show you one thing. If I want to create subtextual information here, it clearly shows that you cannot enter that value. Okay, it restricts person to give wrong information to the table. Okay, so this is what we call data consistency. Right? If in one table, if the ID is in textual format, if the same ID is used in another table, it should also be in textual format. If two different information is used, we cannot use a database queries to work on them. Understood? So if you remove this one and enter 31402, it is not giving any error. Okay, this is how we create. Now record is available to us. We can perform some activity on it. You can include a lot of information here. Okay, number of records you can create. Alright. So create another table, maybe two other tables. You decide about the attributes, means column names and the type of data they should be. Design them. I will explain you in the next video about using reading activity, that is using select query to display details. Okay, thank you.